Hello, my friends. I'm very happy to see you. As you may know, have just returned from my first vacation in 3 years, and we had a wonderful time. And and our cat received us with graciously rather than resentfully for being gone. So we're very happy about that. And one of the things that occurred to me, I was wondering, oh, what do I want to do today? And then I had this sort of a light dream remembrance of something I wanted to share with you when my son was very little and just starting to walk. And I lived in married student housing, and I got to live there because I had a kid. I got pregnant at 19, married at 20, divorced at 21 when I was a sophomore in college. And so I went back to school when my son was 4 months old. And I can remember when when he was first starting to walk, we would be going out the door and I would be wanting to go somewhere. But I had him by his hand, and we would start in that direction, and then he would wander off. And then I wouldn't yank him or try to talk to him because he was very little. I realized I touched him, and then there was just this little nudge, but also my direction of we're going this way. We're going this way, and oh, this is beautiful, and we're going this way. And I realized that what was in there is that moment of choice, that moment of, am I going to just be on the ride, or can I choose? And I realized that the loop of awareness, one of the great benefits of the loop of awareness is that it gives you the very fundamentals of choosing. Of in each moment, for me, one of the great benefits of loop of awareness is that it reaffirms on a moment-to-moment basis that I can choose. If I choose where I can put my attention, I can choose in other ways. And so I love that about one of the big benefits of the regular practice of loop of awareness is that in that moment where your attention goes off, what is it in you? And I want to ask you to just tune into that inside you. Where is the basis of your choosing? So for a lot of us, we think that it's up here, that I will think differently and then I will do differently. But we know now from all kinds of research that follows, that it's how you move first that makes the basis of how you think. And so I'd like you to tune into where are you choosing inside yourself. So for me, it's a kind of gathering. I feel this sort of light gathering inside myself, and so I want you to just give some light awareness to when I'm going off in this direction, and I want to go to another direction. How do I do that? And having had my mobility challenged in the last few years, I have had the experience of how do I actually move? Where does my movement actually start? Because for so many of us as adults, all of that is already automatic. So if I want to go somewhere, I just go there. But if you're challenged in the way that I've been challenged, just how do I move? Where's the basis of my movement? And so I wanted to have you practice with a couple of different possibilities. So lightly nudging yourself. So like when you got your arm around someone, you're going, no, we're going this way. We're not going that way. We're going this way. Sort of like I was doing with my son when he'd wander off. I go, well, we're going off to the car now. And that little light nudge inside. So give yourself a moment to just, how do you nudge yourself lightly? I mean, I think we all know about how we can push ourselves and control ourselves, but what's that light encouragement of yourself to move in a different direction? And so as I'm experimenting with that, and I invite you to experiment with that, the nudge, where I feel it is where it feels most friendly to me is imagining a hand in the middle of my back. So just that light support and backing me up. And when I feel that, it's I feel an expansion and a freedom to let my attention go in another direction. So the very basis of the loop of awareness is shifting, and being able to shift your attention, and shift it in all kinds of ways. But the fundamental one is shifting it from giving attention to you to giving attention out here, and giving attention in here and out here. And that you can do that also with your eyes open, because most of us, when we think of giving attention to ourselves, many people close their eyes. And so the loop of awareness is designed for you to be able to give attention, but to be able to do that with your eyes open so you can move around in the world. And that's part of why we call it, I call it meditation in action, because being able to choose while I'm in the world, rather than, I go off and meditate, and I meditate twice a day and have for over 40 years. And that's different than how do I give my attention when I'm active in the world. So we have the nudge. See if how the gentle nudge, or for me, the hand on the back, or it could be a touch on your shoulder, or it could be a little vertical oozing that you do that allows you to have the freedom to shift. So, and also I find that the fear melters create that possibility for me also. So the oozing and wiggling and rooting, and of course we do the love scoops, which are also I think a way of welcoming and nudging. So let yourself play with what supports you to make that shift with your attention. What I also find is just giving a little, letting myself notice my breath allows me to shift. So whenever I'm noticing, I'm shifting. So it's a very fundamental way that we can activate our loop of awareness. So as you're playing with that, let yourself notice if your shift of noticing out. So one of the things I'm noticing while we were gone, we had a bunch of tree trimming. We do tree trimming every fall, so we're stewarding the beautiful oaks that we have on our property. And I'm noticing as I'm sending my attention out that I have a very happy oak, and next to it I have some very happy sycamores who've gotten their branches trimmed so they're not going to make our electricity go out by getting up into the wires. So what I'm also receiving from that, as I'm telling you, is that our noticing is an act of caring. And so when I'm noticing, my attention is a form of caring. And I wonder if you would be willing to care for yourself by giving yourself some attention and then noticing where your attention wants to go in you. I did more walking with my sticks than I have in the last few months. And so when I got home, a lot of attention wanted to go to my knees, because I had been on an airplane for hours and hours and hours and sitting and so on. And so as I'm giving my attention to my knees, they did this little kind of, ooh, there was this little kind of inside going, oh, thank you, you noticed me. So when you give attention to yourself, your body is going to respond. My body feels cared for. That sense of, so that I'm not having to earn, by doing something, that I can give myself attention for being. And then let yourself shift your attention, and then notice, okay, so I've asked you to shift your attention. So you could make that, oh, Katie's telling me what to do and I'm just going to do it, and you go through the motions. But when I invite you to shift your attention, right there you have a choice. The choice of, oh, I could shift my attention. And when I practice that shifting of my attention, that training allows me to shift my attention when I'm in the world. Because I have, just like I brush my teeth, I am giving my body the opportunity to have a practice that's nourishing. So the big payoff for me, and I'm inviting you to take that on as well, the big payoff is I can choose. And so when I feel stuck, or I'm feeling overwhelmed, or there's been another awful thing that's happened, I can either get lost in that with my attention, or I can choose this practice of shifting my attention, which allows me to really activate my caring and my giving attention because I choose. So it's also activating your agency, your sense of, oh, regardless of what's going on around me, I can choose where I'm putting my attention. And that's going to be, I think, of more and more importance, because as we know, these devices are attention capturing machines. As our ads, so your ability to choose has just enormous power. And so that was the thing that was emerging for me today. I'm always curious about, what am I going to share with you today? And my body says, don't worry about it, we got it. And so it almost always comes to me before, sometimes just before, but often, when I'm meditating or I've just woken up from a dream. So I feel happy about the practice, even if you just do it a little bit, really grows your ability to choose in all kinds of circumstances. So let's show the card, because that, I think, is going to add to our ability to choose. I always love how the cards go with, it all kind of flows together. So as you're choosing to put your attention into the collage and then back into you, and then back into the card, you might go really into it, and then there's that choosing of, oh, I can come back to me now and let my body respond to what I'm seeing. And then you can choose to go into the collage again and then back into you. And let me read the sentence and then the question. I can shift from upset to clarity within 2 to 3 full breaths. I can shift from upset to clarity within 2 to 3 full breaths. So if you're adding your attention to your breath, we know now, and research really supports, that 3 breaths really allow you to make a physiological shift, a very reliable physiological shift. So if you let your attention play with your breath, even in the midst of the unexpected, even in the midst of awfulness, you can presence yourself within 2 to 3 breaths. And that spaciousness that I see and that I experience then inside, where I may feel, and burdened or frozen or stuck, that letting that flow of the breath support the flow of my attention, and I can then shift. So notice that the shift word is in there too. And also the question is also very wonderful for what we're sharing today. How can I choose and respond freely with full presence rather than reacting automatically? I love that question. How? So the how is for you to invent. How can I choose and respond freely with full presence rather than reacting automatically? Boy, that's a great question. I invite you to keep this card in access this week, because the question is really, I think, a very powerful one, because we're really declaring that I can choose and I can presence myself regardless of what's going on out there. And I love how our bodies and our body intelligence can assist us in waking that up so easily. So I love that. All right, and let's come on back to the group here, and let me take a look at when we meet. I actually don't know if we have new people here today, and if we do, welcome, welcome. And let me just you're seeing what we do, which is to do something about our loops and scoops, something about attention, and then something with a card. And then we take a look at our Presence Connect play, so that you have lots of practices to support you in your aliveness and your connection during the week. And so the first one for presence, and also, let me just show you, we can do that in a moment. If you don't, the Presence Connect play, put that in the chat. So in case anybody doesn't know about the Presence Connect play app, they can get that from the chat. So the presencing is, I love this one. Notice and follow what your body wants to do. So what we often do when I give attention to myself, or when we're told to pay attention, it's usually to stop something or to control something. So when someone says pay attention, it's usually stop it. So if you're inviting, notice and follow what your body wants to do, the first thing that you do is get unfrozen. So go ahead and notice your body right now, and notice what does your body want to do. Because almost always, and this is leaked into Zoom also, because people get sort of Zoom bodies, you're just planted there and there's nothing going on. But if you let yourself be dynamic even on a Zoom call, that noticing your own body and letting your body do what it wants to do is really contagious. But what might come up for you is, you're going to distract from what's going on, or don't draw attention to yourself, or stop doing that, it's silly. So let yourself play with noticing what your body wants to do, and then noticing if there are fear thoughts that come up in that, because then you can go, it's okay for you to be spontaneous. It's okay for you to do something different than other people are doing. And when I do that, my sense of aliveness and flow really accelerates. So now my feet are going, my toes are going, now you're doing it. Now my toes are wiggling, and that always lets me know I've presenced myself, because when my attention goes all the way down to my feet, I know, okay, I'm flowing today. And we're getting all kinds of research that I've known for 50 years, but that movement and dance are the best ways to keep your creativity going, to deal with your brain not aging, to give you more connection to how you want to be in the world. So moving, see, if people can't control your moving, they can't control you. If you let yourself move the way you want to move, your spontaneous movement is the best thing for your brain. And if you add sound to that, or you add music to it, off you go, into creating the rhythms of interaction and new possibilities. It's how I get new thoughts, and I've gotten whole new trainings out of this particular practice. So, but the main thing is that I'm here. And I'm imagining as you're letting your body do what it wants to do, that you're presencing yourself more. You can feel more here. And that allows you then to connect and play. So let's see what connect is. Open posture. I was, in traveling, I hadn't done very much traveling. I'm over 1 million-mile flyer, but I have not done very much flying in the last 3 years. And being in airports is a great way to study posture. It's a great place to study personas. It's a great way to play. Also, I had great fun, particularly with kids, because I do presence connect play when I'm in airports. And kids are always ready to do that. So I'm ready, and I see a kid doing something, and I take it and I do it a little bit more, and then the kid does it a little bit more, and we have this little interaction, and then off we both go, usually with some laughter, or their parents going, "What are you doing?" Or, and I'm going, "Wasn't me, I'm just playing." So what allows us to connect is open posture. And what I noticed is that most people had tunnel posture. And also bent over postures. There was a lot of burdened, a lot of trying to control, a lot of, sort of walling off from other people. So go ahead and take on that posture for a moment of protection, and how, when you're feeling threatened, how you protect yourself. So I usually I can feel my jaw gets tight, and I sort of pull in toward my middle, and my breath comes up more, and then let yourself play with what would be an open posture, and it can be very subtle and also very powerful. So a couple of the places that I notice are I notice my shoulders, because those, particularly with computers and devices, we tend to roll in. So I play with opening my shoulders, and I play with opening my my ribs, so that I'm not sitting on myself. So for a moment, just let your ribs sit on your hips, so that you just kind of so you sort of collapse on yourself. And then when I do that, I feel more burdened. But when I let myself rise up, when I let my spine rise up out of my lap, and I let my middle play, then I can feel my breath opening, and then all of a sudden my feet say, "Give me some more space." And so I've noticed that I just had my legs open up more, rather than being, straight ahead. And then my hips feel like, oh, and now I want to move. And so everything starts flowing. And that again starts with one choice to open your posture in some way, and then let that expand in you. And these are things that you, again, can do over and over again through the week, and find new ways to open your posture, new ways to notice and follow what your body wants to do. Oh, and then play. This is a fun one, because our culture is addicted to speed, and has been for a very long time, going faster. So just saying slow down, it doesn't work, because your body has no reference for that. Because if you're, but you're not aware of it, you're unconscious of it. And so letting yourself, the play move is letting yourself go way faster and then way slower, and letting yourself shift from way faster. So just doing that, like for me, getting ready to go to the airport and getting everything packed. So like getting ready to go out of the door, but oh my God, you're late. Okay, so letting your body go way faster. So go ahead and let yourself do that right now. So letting your body go way faster. And you can even do it with sound too. And then way slower. We used to, back in the old days, have these things called vinyl records. And you could adjust the speed of the needle and how fast the record was going. So we used to have great fun with that because we'd put on something that was supposed to be played at 45 and we'd turn it down to 38 and the singing would be very... So letting yourself go way slower and then again way faster, just to let yourself play with that. Some part of you way faster, or even just your face going, I know, and then way slower. And just notice if your body feels refreshed. I feel refreshed, and also kind of a little inner giggle, like, oh, that was fun. I can create aliveness and fun. You can create aliveness and fun without anything external, just by letting yourself presence, connect, and play. So, thank you so much for being here and for connecting. I do this because I love to have us all connect, and I feel nourished by connecting with all of you, and that our community is really a source of strength and connection and love that you can draw on anytime. And so thank you for being here. I'd love to see all of you. And until next time, I'm going to take my leave, and please stay and share and ask and mwah, and take care. Until next time. Bye now.